National Geographic is taking pictures of everyday people and then providing their quotes. So this guy, who appears to be wearing a Black Lives Matter shirt, was captioned with this quote: "Ashamed that accomplished minorities surprise me. Daniel Robbins is a firm believer in the equality of all people, but he's troubled by his seemingly involuntary reaction to seeing a minority doing well at something. He struggles to eradicate those low expectations." So this guy has a happy face on his belt, Black Lives Matter on his shirt, but says he struggles at having low expectations for minorities. And I'm glad that he admitted the truth, because this kind of gives you a window inside the minds of millions of liberals. It's not just Daniel. It has once been coined as the soft bigotry of low expectations, which is acting like you're nice, acting like you're somebody's friend, but really just thinking so lowly of them that you don't even believe they're capable of doing great things. I think that's why Malcolm X once said that the white liberal was the most dangerous thing in the Western Hemisphere. I think he was talking about people like this. Take a look.
There are many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox.
And this mindset can be seen all over politics. One of the most obvious ones is with identification. Republicans want a fair election, so they want everybody to have an ID to identify that they are who they're voting for. Liberals try to block this on every front, claiming it's Jim Crow, it's racist. Black people can't get access to identification, and really they're doing exactly what Daniel says, is they think so lowly of black people, they think so lowly of you, that they don't even think that you're capable of getting an identification. And what does that say in a society where you need an identification to get on a plane, to travel, to stay at a hotel, to get a debit or credit card, to purchase a car? I mean, literally almost anything that an adult does in this life, they need an identification for. But liberals think so lowly of black people that they think, or maybe they lie and claim, oh no, I'm doing this because I'm so not racist that I want everyone to vote even without identification. And this group of people can't even get an ID. They act like they're so nice and so thoughtful, but just like Daniel, they'll eventually admit, I'm ashamed that accomplished minorities surprise me. And it's their actions and it's their words and it's their policies that lead people to struggle and keep struggling. And no matter how many people die, no matter how bad neighborhoods get, most of the highest crime black neighborhoods in America are run by Democrats. The liberals aren't thinking, we're trying to help you, we're trying to turn this into a prosperous community. A lot of times they're thinking, well, I think so lowly of these people, I'm not even sure that they're capable of not committing crime. If you think I'm joking, check out his Black Lives Matter shirt and ask yourself, if Black Lives Matter, shouldn't we be talking about 100% of black lives who die earlier than they should? But liberals ignore 80 to 90% of them, because the truth is, it's not just white people and police that are outgunning people down by the 90 percentiles. There's so much inner city crime that's interracial. It just isn't appealing to liberals because they think so lowly of people, and also I don't think they can exploit it for a racial, social, or political agenda, raise hundreds of millions of dollars off the back of it, and then leave these communities with more crime than when they got there. Just in the last month, these two stories out of Chicago: 14-year-old boy shot dead in Lawndale as his family packed to move to a safer place in the suburbs. Tyrese Taylor is the 11th child, aged 15 and younger, to be gunned down in Chicago this year. 11 children being murdered, innocent children. At least let them be an adult and make their own decisions, but they can't even live that long. And none of these liberals care, because people like Daniel, no offense, I don't mean to blame it all on this guy, that's the mindset they have, the bigotry of low expectations, these people can't even get an ID. I know I need an ID, you need an ID, and any adult needs an ID to do anything in this life, but I think so lowly of this community, I'm not even sure if they're capable of getting an identification. This is literally what they think of people. Another story out of Chicago this month: 14-year-old girl dies after back of yard shooting. And once again, I'm not saying Republicans and conservatives are perfect, okay? There's good and bad people on all sides of the aisle, but liberals and Democrats almost have a monopoly on these high crime black areas, because people keep going and overwhelmingly voting for Democrats thinking that they're helping them. But just like Malcolm X said, they're the most deceitful and the most dangerous. Watch again.
That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox. And a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to. But the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that Even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling. You take him for a friend.
Malcolm X was no dummy. He wasn't saying this for any other reason besides, these are the people who claim to help, but really in their heads they're thinking, I'm not going to treat them like an equal. They freak out. When I see somebody black and successful, I don't make them the net sum of everybody else in the world. I just think that guy probably worked really hard or he's really good at something. It's quite natural. It's quite normal. I have plenty of friends who are doing fantastically and I don't think anything of it. And when I see high crime areas, I think they are capable of succeeding and thriving. And if for some reason they're not, then for the sake of the children and 99% of the population who is and who deserves a better life, somebody needs to go help these people, because just letting kids get gunned down in America on a weekly basis just because you think inside your head that they can't do better, and anybody who wants to put their foot down and stop crime so they live in a nice neighborhood instead of a violent neighborhood and want identifications for voting is a racist, is such a sicko, wicked mindset. And these same passive-aggressive pseudo-intellectual pretend like they love you so much and then they stab you in the back games that they're playing with the black community. Liberals are also playing with the Hispanic community and anybody who wants to really be nice. Just look at these two headlines from Washington Post. Our country is full. Trump's declaration carries far-right echoes that go back to the Nazi era. So when Trump was talking about border security, they compared him to the Nazi party. When Kamala Harris says the same thing, they say, do not come. Harris seeks hope at home for Guatemalans. Hope at home. Nazi. This is just straight propaganda. And if you don't think Kamala Harris didn't flip-flop on her immigration policy, just watch the video.
When people are fleeing harm, we will embrace them. But look at what has happened with this administration. There are children who are fleeing murder capitals of the world. Let's be clear about this. Imagine a mother who makes a decision to pay a coyote to transport her child across the entire country of Mexico, facing unknown peril. She does that because she believes for that child to stay where they are is worse. But what does this president do? He virtually looks at those children and says, go back to where you came from.
I want to be clear to folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border. Do not come. Do not come. The United States will continue to enforce our laws and secure our border. There are legal methods by which migration can and should occur. But we, as one of our priorities, will discourage illegal migration. And I believe if you come to our border, you will be turned back. So let's discourage our friends, our neighbors, our family members from embarking on what is otherwise an extremely dangerous journey, where in large part the only people who benefit are coyotes.
These are the sicko games that they play. There are thousands of examples, but I want to make this brief and just get to the point. Once again, I appreciate Daniel for being honest with his Black Lives Matter shirt and telling people the truth publicly on National Geographic. He said, "Ashamed that accomplished minorities surprise me. Daniel Robbins is a firm believer in the equality of all people, but he's troubled by his seemingly involuntary reaction to seeing a minority doing well at something. He struggles to eradicate those low expectations. And this is the liberal ideology in a nutshell. That's why they do Black Lives Matter, George Floyd protests in cities, let people loot stores, let the violent crime go higher, screw over all the businesses in the neighborhood, literally help degenerate and run down even further certain communities, many of which are a majority Black or Hispanic, and they'll tell you that they're all about equality and they're really trying to help, and the reason is because they're fighting the white supremacists in the right wing. That's what they'll tell you, but in their head, they don't see you as equal. They see you as so far low, if you ever become a successful black man in a suit, they'll call you white. What does it mean to be black if you do something that strays from the norm of gang violence and crime? That they call you a completely different race, or they'll call you the word the Uncle Tom.
I said to my daughter, tell daddy what you learned in school. And she said, I learned that mama's white and I'm black. I said, damn, I wish I got the heads up. They said, no, we had to tell her because of Martin Luther King's birthday. But a white teacher told her that. So what does it mean to be black in America if a white teacher tells her that she's black? You might be Kanye West's daughter, but you black. My daughter was free. We start putting these ideas and ideals on people. That's why we are in a simulation.
And it goes on both sides in all racial groups and all political groups, but that's how lowly some people think of you. It's really sick to me because I want everybody to do well. And if I see a community that's high crime, I'm not like Daniel and I look at them and think, oh yeah, that's how it should be. That's how it's always gonna be. That's great. That's awesome. Let's just leave it. Let's make excuses for it. It's like, if that's what you want to do, just admit Black lives don't matter to you. What matters, you should change your name from Black Lives Matter to I only care about black people when it's politically or socially advantageous, when the television and celebrities tell me to, when a cop does something wrong, and when a white person does something. That's the only time they care about black lives. Black lives do not matter to them. It's all a front, it's all a lie, and it should be obvious. Anybody that writes Black Lives Matter on a shirt and walks around, to me, that's like a sign saying, I don't actually care, I'm just virtue signaling and pretending like I'm a great person. It's so obvious, it's so fake, and that's what liberal culture has become, fake. It's all fake. We're so tired of it. I've been into liberal activism in my life. It's just this modern day stuff is so gross. They make communities worse. They smile to your face and say, oh no, we're doing this to help you. And then behind closed doors, they're thinking to themselves, I think so lowly of these people that I don't even think they can get a form of identification. I can get one by myself, but they can't get one. They're not smart enough. They're not good enough. They're not rich enough. They can't do it. I can do it. Other white people who are poor can do it, but not this community. No, they can't do it. They need my help. The liberal, hey, help. You need my help. And the second that you don't, like millions of successful conservative Republicans who love Christ, who believe in pulling themselves up by their own bootstraps, millions of minorities who escaped communist countries or came over from Africa and appreciate the United States from what it is, they don't have this mentality. And when they don't have that mentality, watch how liberals treat them.
What do you say to people that say you turned your back on the culture or
exactly
black people?
100%. I have turned my back on the idea of victimization mentality. We are locked up. We went from 1 and 4. We went from 1 and 4 to 1 and 3, but we always pointing at the white people, but yet we want to spend all of our money on foreigns. We want to spend all our money on luxury as opposed to going and buying some land. America is for sale, and there's a lot of barren land. Disney bought a lot of it in Florida, but the culture has you focused so much on fucking somebody bitch and pulling up in a foreign and rapping about things that could get you locked up and then saying you about prison reform. Like, it's, bro, we brainwashed out here, bro. Come on, man, this is a free man talking.
If you think liberals hate white Republicans, just wait till you see how they treat black people that they can't control. They'll start acting like, not only do I not understand what's going on here, I will viciously hate these people and try to put them down in the position where they aren't successful, where they need my help to be successful. It's such a slave master sicko mentality that these people have, and it should be no surprise that these are the same people that are locking down their cities, which is just code for imprisonment, lockdowns, quarantines. Oh yeah, this is so normal, guys. Wake up, folks. If you watch a Utah Jazz game, they have pretty much full capacity at the stadium. And if you watch a Los Angeles Clipper game, which is run by Democrats and not Republicans, it's the Democrat cities that are replacing human beings at their games with cardboard cutouts. And then the halftime show is sponsored by Oculus, which is a virtual reality company owned by Facebook. Do you not get it? Cardboard cutouts, virtual reality halftime show. They don't value your life. They are replacing you with cardboard cutouts. Literally. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's literally what's happening. And that's what Kanye meant when he says slavery was a choice. He wasn't trying to be mean or edgy, but everyone who got mad at him is on the side of cardboard cutouts, freaking out when people have full capacity sports game, which is the best of humanity. That's like real human energy right there, not playing in front of a bunch of fake cardboard cutouts. You get what I'm saying? This is the liberal mentality. They have a slave master mentality. No humanity, no freedom, no people, no full capacity, curfews, quarantines, lockdowns, forcing a cloth over your breathing holes and your smile, your face. If we want to talk about our ancestors, let's talk about the fact that your face is based on the genetics, unless you got plastic surgery, of your ancestors, your smile, your identity. You know, that is your family, that is you. And they're covering that up, your breathing hole and your mouth, and you're just another generic person. So when they replace you with a cardboard cutout, people who've been tricked by liberals don't even seem to notice. So this goes so much deeper into how they treat Black and Hispanic people, lowly thinking you're not good enough. This is a dupe on the whole human race, and we need all our Black, Hispanic, Asian, Indian, all racial and white brothers and sisters to really start understanding this, because we're running out of time. In Pakistan, they said they're going to shut off your SIM card if you choose the medical freedom to not get vaccinated. In Canada, they're arresting political leaders for just having events. There's curfews in France. In the UK, they're extending lockdown. America, we're free right now because of conservatives. If there were no conservatives and Republicans, this country would be in lockdown. This country would be enslaved and imprisoned right now. So wake up, folks. These celebrities are lying. These sports leagues are lying. These liberals are lying. National Geographic, for the most part, is lying. And we're so close. The media has tricked you into hating the people who are saving you. And it's not to say conservatives and Republicans are perfect. Trust me, they annoy me too. And so does Trump, quite often actually, because he's Mr. Operation Warp Speed Moderna Pfizer salesman. It's annoying. But in general, I'm not saying they're perfect, but the most deceitful, the liberal. Thank you, Daniel, for being honest what's in your mind, because you're not the only one. There's millions upon millions of people who will never admit it, but have the soft bigotry of low expectations. And it's really hurting our country. It's really hurting the Black community, and it's really hurting any minority or any white person, to be quite frank, who actually believes your nonsensical crap. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you and God bless your family. If you like these hats, God bless, godblesshats.com. I'm 100% independent. That's why I keep it 100% real. It's not this nonsense you see on left or right wing news, because I'm not controlled by these people, and I never will be. Godblesshats.com. Stayintouchwithme.com is my free email list. Thank you to everybody on patreon.com/raretalk. You guys allow me to be here in the first place. Everybody supporting on Patreon, thank you so much, and have a beautiful, beautiful day. Stay strong, stay blessed, and we'll make it through this.